Now, I actually told people to go along to William Hill's betting shops a week before and make a bet that the no vote would win. The margin, I said, would be very, very close. In actual fact, the margin between the yes and the no was smaller than the number of postal ballots that were made. I think there was something like 650,000 of those postal ballots. Now, if you've got 650,000 postal ballots that can actually weigh up an election, and you've got people like this guy in his official jerkin filling in ballot papers.
Right, this is Edinburgh Ward in Scotland, and this is a nice shifty man. He's looking around, is anybody watching me? And he's filling in ballot papers himself. Ballot papers shouldn't be touched by anybody, shouldn't really be written on by anyone apart from the voter. And this guy is obviously filling in ballot papers. And he's looking around himself, and he's got an official jerkin on to show that he's one of the adjudicators. He's looking around, and this is how the vote was fixed in Scotland. Here we have a table supposedly full of no votes, and you can clearly see that at least several of those votes have got crosses in the yes box. That's the ballot paper, and that is a travesty of democracy, because each of these ballot papers should have somebody's name, address and their signature, not just a cross.
You've got a woman in Clackmannanshire, which was the first region in Scotland to return a result, taking yes votes and bundling them with no votes. And the BBC actually reported that Clackmannanshire was the first region to say no. You know, Scotland wants to stay with Buckingham Palace. Scottish people want to have their taxes taken out of their wage packets. If you've got a scam like this, you need to act. You need to take your democratic responsibility seriously as a member of the public, as a Scottish person, and you need to take action. And that's what I'm saying on this video now.
Right, this is Clackmannanshire, the first region in Scotland to return a result which was obviously no, because the vote was rigged. Just watch this woman. She's taking yes votes and she's taking them out of the yes pile, which is on her left, and she's actually putting them into the no pile. She's shuffling these because somebody's told her just make sure that there's bundles and bundles of no votes. And on Sky News, on the news service that's run by Rupert Murdoch, we saw bundles of votes which were meant to be no votes on tables labelled, this is the table for the no votes, and you can clearly see that on those bundles of votes there were people voting yes. And there needs to be a recount and a police investigation into what was going on. There were some adjudicators who were actually critical of this vote on the actual night. And here is the Sky HD footage, and you can clearly see right in front of you the top box on the ballot paper has got a cross in it that says yes, and yet the table says no. It's a table full of what are meant to be no votes. There's the yes vote there. There's another yes vote there.
I told people more than a week ago on Facebook, and you can check the post, it's facebook.com/Christopher Everard, though there's lots of fake versions of me. I told people a week before this Scottish referendum vote happened that it was going to be a no vote. What does a no vote mean? It means that it's in favour of Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace steal money directly from Scottish people's wage packets. It's all down to taxation. And this isn't a democracy, this is a democratic dictatorship. And these ballot papers are a sham and a scam. And basically what it is that it's a mark of an illiterate. It's a simple cross on a scrap of paper. And we saw video footage of people that are meant to be working as adjudicators, overlooking the actual counting of these ballot papers in Scotland. And there's footage of a chap sitting there, he's got one of his official jerkins on, and he's actually filling in crosses on these ballot papers. A ballot paper should have your name, it should have your address, it should have some identifying piece of information. And people were just turning up, we don't know who they were, and you know, they're saying, do you live at such and such a street? Oh yeah, I do, yeah. Could be a lie. And they're just given a ballot paper. There was also more than 600,000 postal ballots. 600,000, I think 640,000, they mark the difference between the yes and the no, so they could have been doctored as well. This is a scam and it's a sham that's been put before the Scottish people. Now, not only did I tell people that the no vote would win, a week before that happened, I told people that it would be a close call, and there were already headlines saying, oh, it's too close to call. This is a scam which I've been monitoring in years gone past. It's happened in Australia when there was a referendum on whether Australia should be an independent nation, which of course it should be, or should it be under the control of Buckingham Palace with the Queen as the monarch, or the King as the monarch. In 1979 there was a devolution vote in Scotland, and we had a situation then, in 1979, where people who were dead were receiving ballot papers. Now, this wouldn't happen if each of these ballot papers had the name and the address of every single registered voter. These ballot papers are rigged right from the start, because they just have yes and no, and it's the mark of an illiterate peasant just across. It should be a signature of each voter. And a week before this Scottish independence vote happened, what I said and what I published on Facebook is that the no would win, and it would win by a narrow margin. And riots have broken out on the streets of Glasgow, and a lot of those people on the streets, they knew that this was rigged. Now, who is responsible for rigging this vote? I'm saying right now it's MI5. If MI5, working on behalf of Buckingham Palace, have a problem with me saying that, and I said that a week before the vote even happened, then they can come here and they can question me. They won't do that, because all of these votes are rigged. It's a democratic dictatorship. That's what we're living in, and that's why I call it a scam and a sham. Now, how do we deal with this democratic dictatorship? What do we do? What does a normal member of the public do when they go onto Facebook and they see people like me predicting the vote a week before it happens? Obviously there's something dreadfully wrong with what we call democracy. The first thing you can do is you can call the police, your local police, and you can ask the policeman, how do I report a vote rigging crime? I have a suspicion of a crime that's taken place in my local community, and it's to do with vote rigging. Ask the police, record the police, see whether the police know anything about it. The chances are you're not going to get any decent information, but the call will be recorded, the subject of the call will be recorded, and at least the police will get a message from the public that, oh, you know, people are waking up to this democratic dictatorship.